Hey book buddies, Katie here, and today I'm going to be giving a spoiler-free review of Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. I'm sorry for posting a video of me crying over a BTS member in the middle of the night last night, but my life is kind of falling apart, and sometimes it's nice to just distract myself by crying over a cute guy, so I'm sorry, but I'm also not. Anyway, Eleanor Oliphant might be completely fine, but I am not, because this book hurt me. This book ripped my heart out of my chest and tore it up into pieces right in front of me, and then spat on my grave. That being said, I loved it. I bought this book on a complete impulse. I was in Target and I just saw it, and I don't know, sometimes when you're in Target, you just buy things and there's no explanation for why. I saw on the cover that Reese Witherspoon liked it, and I trust her opinion. Also, I've been thinking, and I read an ungodly amount of YA, and that's fine, but I'm a grown woman and I should be able to read grown people books sometimes. So I was thinking, because this was an impulse buy, that it wasn't even going to be that good, and I really wasn't even looking forward to reading it, but boy was I wrong. This book is about a woman in her 30s. She lives in Glasgow, and she had a very, very bad childhood, and that trauma from her childhood has kind of followed her into her adulthood. And as a result of this, she has completely cut herself off from the people around her. So she has no filter, she has very poor social skills, and she doesn't know how to make any friends. Then one day, this nice IT guy is hired at the place where she works, and they become friends, and then they help this elderly man who falls on the street, and they become friends with him and his family. And this book is just about Eleanor learning how to make friends and learning how to let people into her life again, while simultaneously dealing with the pain and the trauma that she has left over from her childhood. So yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster, but it's also really funny. This book is written in first person from Eleanor's point of view, and like I said, she has no filter, she doesn't give a fuck, and she is so funny. Very dry, witty humor, but I don't know, some of it was just making me die of laughter. There's this scene where she goes to get a wax, and I don't know, for whatever reason, there were tears streaming down my face because I was laughing so hard. In fact, the first half of this book was so funny and lighthearted that I sort of thought that the book was going to be just a fluffy, happy book the whole way through. And then the second half was like, let me punch you in the gut. But like, in a good way. It hurt my feelings, which rude, but also it made me feel really warm and tingly inside. One drawback, however, from the book being first person and in Eleanor's point of view is that Eleanor is kind of annoying, especially in the first half, because like I said, she doesn't really know how to interact with people, and so sometimes she's really rude to people. There's a scene where she doesn't tip a waitress, and I got actually angry about it. But I will say that this is done on purpose, and Eleanor is not a static character. She does change a lot by the end, and by the end I really liked her. One thing though that I do like about this book, being from Eleanor's perspective, is that Eleanor is almost an unreliable narrator because she doesn't understand what's going on around her. It usually just goes right over her head, and she thinks one thing is happening, but it's really another. Gail Honeyman writes all of her interactions in such a way where Eleanor doesn't know what's going on, but you do. And I think that that's a really tough line to walk. Finding a balance between not wanting to be too heavy-handed about the clues that you're giving your reader because you don't want it to feel unrealistic, but also giving them enough that they're not just really confused, is a tough thing to accomplish. And I feel like Gail Honeyman does it in a way that's very natural and easy to read. I have read books in the past where a narrator has been sort of like Eleanor, but I was still expected to know what was going on, and usually I just find that very confusing and uncomfortable as a reader, but this book was not like that, and I appreciated that. And the other thing that I really enjoyed about this book was how refreshingly normal the story was. I'm used to reading books where there's some sort of fantastical war going on or some unrealistic romance plot, and this book was just about a woman living her life. She really just goes to work and walks to the grocery store and meets people at work who feel like normal people that you would meet. It was just a book about somebody living their own everyday life. And it was done in a way that wasn't boring. It would seem like that wouldn't be that fun to read, but I don't know, something about the way it was written, I got so sucked in and engrossed with Eleanor's life, even if she was just going to work or going and getting a wax. I was really engaged in her story, and I just found that really refreshing. I do just want to give a short sort of disclaimer. This book does deal with some pretty heavy stuff, and so there are some potential triggers that you might want to be on the lookout for if you decide to read this book. For instance, Eleanor talks about mental and physical abuse from family members and romantic partners. She also deals with alcoholism. There are a couple of deaths, and there is a scene about 3/4 of the way in where she gets very depressed and she briefly considers suicide. So I know that that's something that can be really hard for some people to read. So even though I thought that this book handled it in a really responsible way, I just feel compelled to let you guys know just in case. Overall, I give this book 5 stars. I thought it was phenomenal. Target and Reese Witherspoon have never steered me wrong, and I can't believe that I doubted them for a second. Also, I got a signed copy. Thank you, Target. This video is not sponsored by Target, in case for some reason you were wondering, but I mean, hey, Target, how you doing? Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, please feel free to click that like button or subscribe to my channel. If you have read Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine, please let me know what you thought of it in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Also, one quick thing, I know that I try to post at least one video every week, but I am about to start college classes again tomorrow, and for those of you who have been with my channel for a while, you know my major is environmental engineering, and that is very time consuming. So often during the semester, I will kind of disappear at random because I'm so busy. I'm gonna try really hard not to do that this semester. I want to keep up with this channel, and I'm also gonna try to keep up with all of your channels and watch all of your videos because I love you guys. But I am just letting you know that there might be a couple of weeks here and there where I'm MIA. I'm really sorry, but don't hate me, and I promise if I disappear, I will come back. I will see you all again as soon as I can with a new video, but until then, happy reading. Bye.